Maya hears the ping before she can ask why Noah's phone lies face up on the counter. The lock screen blares. Dr. Elena Rivers. Keep her from backing out tonight. She's wavering. Remind her of what she already owes. Wine drips over the rim. Maya freezes mid-reach, the message glowing between them like a blade. Noah turns from the stove, his smile automatic. But his eyes flick once to the screen, then away. The practiced calm already sliding back into place. Maya lets the glass settle back on the counter. The drip trail over the lip halts like a heartbeat. She glances at Noah, half turned, the familiar softness easing into the mask he wears for their quiet evenings. And then down at her own hands, which sift through the drawer for the glass she always uses for water. She swallows the urge to ask, to press, to make him explain himself. Instead, she slides the wine back into the fridge, wipes the spill with a dish towel, and tells herself she'll revisit it later. Later becomes a block of small decisions. She moves to the kitchen table, opens her laptop, and pulls up the calendar where she tracks her morning runs, the calls with her editor, the therapy notes she barely remembers to review. Noah is in the living room, folding a sweatshirt and humming the same 2 bars he hums whenever he's content. Maya scrolls through the schedule for the week. Monday, proposal draft. Wednesday, grocery pickup. Friday, pick up meds for mom. And taps out a message to Dr. Elena asking for a new strategy to stay calm during taps on the glass. That last one, a headline she's been rewriting in her head since the ping. She hits send, watches the little bubble of delivered, and rubs her thumb along the edge of the table, a habit that keeps her grounded when she starts doubting whether she's doing enough. On the counter next to her, a bowl of cut fruit sweats in the lingering heat. Noah comes back with a plate, offers her a slice, and she takes it, staying present in the way the teeth of the fork press into the rind, how the juice runs down a finger and she wipes it on her own jeans. She lets the familiar static of home settle in. The refrigerator hum, the ticking of the mantel clock, the soft thrum of the radio in the other room. Because if she can keep living the routine, maybe the ping will stay a single, isolated note instead of the beginning of something louder. Through Maya's eyes, the note on the coffee table, the words, "Promise me we stay together," inked with heavier strokes on "stay," feels like a leash she cannot set down. Aaron crosses the lamplit room, brushing the framed photo off the coffee table with a controlled swipe, then fingers the laptop hinge and hauls it closer with the abruptness of a man catching a lie. He leans in over the screen, shoulders hunched, as if the angle itself could expose the email she was drafting. Maya. "Aaron, I just want to finish the autonomy workshop application. I thought we were going to find a way for me to breathe." Aaron. "I saw what you were writing. Deciding without me already feels like you're abandoning me." Maya Carter's shoulders sag, fingers trembling as they hover over the keyboard, the lamplight catching the pale sheen of her knuckles while she remains rooted to the chair. Maya. "I need this space, Aaron. Learning to decide without collapsing into guilt is why I started the email." Aaron. "I read it. It's reckless, Maya. Fleeing to a workshop while I'm here feels like emotional abandonment. How can you hurt me like that?" Aaron slams the laptop shut, his hand rattling against the lid as if sealing off the room. He then shoves it across the coffee table, the sudden motion leaving the screen dark and the space between them colder. Through the lamplight, Maya's gaze drifts from the framed photo's sunlit smiles to the folded note whose edges reveal his handwriting pressed through the paper. The heavy indentations tracing the same looped promises she keeps rereading and never quite closing. Aaron. "I left the frame and the note so you could see how hollow this place gets the minute you're gone. Your absence would shatter me, Maya." Maya. I never meant to hurt you, but I can't keep pretending I don't need room to breathe. Maya Carter's shoulders fold inward, fingers gripping the note until it crumples. Her gaze flits to the doorway and back, chest heaving though she remains rooted in place. She lunges forward, palms flattening on the coffee table as her fingers fumble for the laptop, only to find the lid snapped shut and the screen black. She lifts the edge, hope collapsing when the cursor vanishes. Wrenching her hand back to grip the note so tightly, it crinkles deeper. Silence wraps Maya Carter as Aaron's footsteps fade, broken only by the soft flutter of the note. Maya Carter's fingers curl white-knuckled around the cushion, breath shallow as her gaze slides from the doorway back to the closed laptop and note. Her shoulders tremble, her jaw clenched, the lamplight casting her trapped silhouette across the floor. She reopens the laptop, the portal glowing as her fingers hover over Send. The screen angled so her body blocks the view. Her fingers jerk away, hands slapping down to flatten against the keyboard, the cursor frozen as Aaron's shadow crosses the doorway. Maya Carter's fingers freeze above the keyboard, shoulders lifting as a silent tremor runs through her. Who were you emailing? I felt abandoned when you vanished without a word. Just confirming that consultation. It's nothing to worry about, Aaron. Maya Carter's thumb stutters down the playlist, then finally presses play on the saved voice memo. Aaron storms back into the room, phone pressed against his ear, shoulders hunched as he barrels past the half-drawn blinds. Through Maya's eyes, the notepad's therapy notes catch the light. Dr. Rivers's transcription reads, Aaron, I'll never change, but you can keep trying. With a margin note underlined twice, he refuses responsibility, no internal shift. Dr. Elena Rivers lifts the small digital recorder, thumb pausing on the rewind button before she presses, the device whirring softly as the tape of Aaron's voice shifts backward. She leans forward, elbows brushing the edge of the desk, breath measured and frame still, the quiet rain underscoring the shift. I want you to hear exactly what you captured. I still hoped hearing it would show him worrying because he loves me. Maya Carter's shoulders slump, her fingers tightening in her lap as she stares out the rain-streaked window, lips pressed thin. To muster, Elena Rivers leaned forward, brushing the pamphlet about codependency aside, and pressed play on the small digital recorder as rain streaked the window behind her. She tapped the notepad with her pen, aligning the transcribed line with the recorder's glow before lifting her fingertips off the button. The notepad lies open on the coffee table, Dr. Rivers' looping handwriting spelling out, If you had some emotional freedom, you'd leave. I can't risk losing you, so I have to micromanage every decision. The line underlined twice, the ink pressed deep enough to dent the page beneath. Maya. He says he has to control every decision. Can that still be about concern? Dr. Elena Rivers. He's weaponizing your fear, the gaslighting, the invented crises. They all protect his hold, not your safety. Maya's fingers clench around the armrest, nails paling as a tremor runs through her shoulders. Her gaze drops, jaw tightening. She pushes herself upright, the small digital recorder clutched in her palm, and she steps back from the couch, her shoulders straightening with each deliberate pace. Her nails gleam pale against the plastic as she shifts her weight, creating a widening gap between herself and the cushions. Through Maya's lens, the pamphlet titled, When Concern Becomes Control, sits on the shelf. Its tagline, You cannot heal what refuses to change, matching the recorded confession word for word. Through Maya's eyes, the laminated consequences list lies over the therapy appointment card. The red circled date matching the same number penciled in the shared savings ledger. The warning beside it claiming keeping Dr. Rivers means financial isolation. Aaron. Cancel, Dr. Rivers, keep our life private, or I'll tell your family how unstable you've become. Maya, you can't make me choose between your story and my truth. Maya Carter's fingers blanch, knuckles whitening as the armrest digs into her palm, and her breath hitches, eyes darting to the list before she forces her shoulders to settle. Aaron slams the printed ultimatum list onto the coffee table, then presses the therapy appointment card flat and jabbed the smudged heading, Maya's People. The repeated taps turning the ink into a bleeding, accusatory smear. Aaron, I'll call them tonight and tell them you're fabricating everything so they know to stay away. Maya, they've seen who you are. They won't fall for your lies. Maya Carter's shoulders slump, fingers twist in her lap until knuckles whiten. Her mouth presses into a thin line as she keeps her gaze glued to the carpet. Through Maya Carter's eyes, the shared savings ledger's column for authorized withdrawals bears Aaron's looping signature beside the zeros in her own designated row. A visual proof of his unilateral control. You can't sever me from what I'm rebuilding. Then know that if you keep seeing him, I'll shut off the accounts, move out, and quietly sabotage every interview by branding you unstable. Her hands curl into fists at her sides, shoulders raising as she swallows hard, eyes hardening in the dim living room. The therapy appointment card glares from the table, the midday slot circled in red beneath Dr. Rivers' name, like a demand she knows Aaron would never approve. I'm keeping the session. I choose my healing, even if you call it instability. Then go rebuild without my help, while I make sure everyone sees you as unhinged. Maya's fingers curl at her sides, knuckles whitening, but her shoulders square as if resisting collapse. She sets the laptop with Dr. Elena Rivers' face in frame, aligning the binder of job leads and the letter addressed to Aaron beside it. She inhales slowly, fingers pressing the call button with deliberate steadiness. Are you ready to tell him this is non-negotiable? Yes. I'm here to honor my truth, even if he tries to stop it. Aaron's fists clench, knuckles whitening as he freezes just beyond the arch, jaw working with every labored breath. Binder tabs for job leads and budget fan out beside the letter, edges of each crisp as if she's already mapped out every step of her independence. Maya, this name's your gift of guilt and why I'm done reacting to it. Aaron, you think a note proves you're standing up? Give it to me and quit therapy right now. Dr. Elena Rivers' shoulders ease. A small, steady nod trembling through her sternum as if the breath she'd been holding finally released. Her fingers tighten around the edge of the desk, eyes softening into an affirmation that the boundary had been named. Her jaw clenches, shoulders square, and she forces herself to meet the screen with steady eyes. Keep seeing her, and I will make sure everyone knows you've been fabricating this abuse. I hear your ultimatum, but I'm still leaving and sticking with therapy. Your threats can't rewrite my plan. She slams the binder onto the coffee table, yanking the pages wide to the tabbed job leads and the layered financial plan. Then jabbed a finger at the columns while settling the letter face up beside it, catching the laptop's glow. Maya sweeps the binder into her arms, pressing the letter atop it as she pushes back from the couch. She shifts her weight, shoulders squared, and strides past the coffee table toward the hallway, the binder and letter cradled against her hip. I'm taking these plans with me, and I'm staying in therapy. This isn't negotiable. Call me if he escalates. Keep documenting every boundary you set. Maya's shoulders loosen slightly. The binder clutched to her chest like a shield, jaw firm as she moves toward the door. Her eyes flicker to the laptop, then away, breath steadying with the weight of her choice. She slides the laminated consequences list into the top drawer, laying the therapy card face down beside the binder of job leads. The "promise me we stay together" note stays where it fell, the heavier strokes of "stay" now a quiet bruise on the coffee table. She wraps the binder in a thin scarf, tucks the letter to Aaron flat against the file, and lifts the satchel. In the hallway light, her own keys feel unfamiliar and right. She turns the lock, the click echoing like punctuation. The door swings closed, the last shiver of air carrying no plea. Her palm rests on the frame for a heartbeat, steady, unflinching. The elevator hums, her reflection steady in the stainless steel. As the doors begin to slide shut, she catches the city spilling in through the gap. Sun sharp, the future no longer tethered to the apartment she just left behind.